Here in America, work is in trouble. We've offshored our manufacturing, sent away good jobs, and lost so much ability to make things. American Giant is a company that's pushing back against this tide. They make high-quality clothing, sweatshirts, jeans, dresses, jackets, and so much more right here in the USA. Visit American-Giant.com and get 20% off your first order when you use code STAPLE20 at checkout. That's 20% off your first order at American-Giant.com, promo code STAPLE20.
Joining me now to talk about, the tariffs, gold and silver spiking back up, a liquidity crisis. You might want to look up that real quick, Michael Weiner. Liquidity crisis. Are we in one? Are we about to be in one? And how about this? How about the repo market, the overnight repurchasing where the feds pump liquidity into the banks? What's going on with that? In the meantime, while Michael is contemplating those questions, because we don't rehearse these interviews in advance. While he's rehearsing those in his mind, however, let me go to our Treasury Secretary in the last few hours. Scott Bessent is talking about, banks and Europe and the people and Wall Street. Listen to this.
In terms of escalation, unfortunately, the biggest offender in the global trading system is China. And they're the only country who's escalated. And I can tell the rest of the world that I'm not sure whether it was the prime minister or the economic minister in Spain made some comments this morning. Maybe we should align ourselves more with China. That would be cutting your own throat, because I can tell you that these Chinese exports that the U.S. tariff wall is going to keep out, that China, for all of you who can remember that Disney movie of the brooms carrying the buckets of water, that is a Chinese business model. It never stops. They just keep producing and producing and dumping, and it's going somewhere. And I think, Rob, at the end of the day, that we can probably reach a deal with our allies, with the other countries that have been long-term. They've been good military allies, not perfect economic allies, and then we can approach China as a group.
All right, well, we'll see if that happens. I read also that China's been really upping their production, and now they're ready to take what they've already been producing and flood the market with lots of cheap products. We'll see what Michael Weiner thinks of this. We would have Wes with us, but Wes is under the weather today. Joining me now is Michael Weiner. How you doing, Michael?
Good evening, Brandon. How are you?
I'm great. Thank you, my friend. What do you make of what the Treasury Secretary is saying there about China?
I totally agree with him. He's spot on. And the only reason the market took a dip today, and I really don't care about the market because most of these guys in the market right now are trying to cover their globalist rear ends. The other ones are not. The market came back yesterday because of reality. The market was played with today by the globalist people in the market who are trying to do nothing more than manipulate to try to look like they're playing along with China somehow to keep their buddies. But I think China's about to find out the resolve of the American people, because anybody I talk to, putting aside our worldview people and friends and even some Democrats who are really all American, as far as we're concerned, China can stick it. Take all their stuff. I'll pay more money. I'll buy it and I'll pay more. I'd rather not have their stuff than have their stuff and let them. They will go the way of Russia under Ronald Reagan. That's what's going to happen. Trump set them up. But right now, that's what brought the market down today. But also, you're watching the rest of the world moving away from the BRICS. The people who tied themselves there, just like Basant was saying right now, he warned somebody, don't make a mistake. Because it could be a mistake, you'll sink with them. The rest of the world is not going in that direction right now. They all want to work it out. But the BRICS and it is now is a currency that might be in problems. You're watching some of the people out there, and I call them some of these people who are trying to say the dollar is in jeopardy. Dollar's not in jeopardy. What's in jeopardy is the fact of how they trade between each other. The central banks of the world are embracing gold. They've been buying gold now for 2 days. And they are continuing to buy it. Now it's affecting the bond market a little bit because people are not buying bonds or buying countries are not buying bonds or buying gold. We've seen gold, and I've had a lot of our clients and people call me up when they saw gold go down for a couple of days below 3,000. And I said, buy it while you can. It's an ice cream sale and it's 100 degrees outside. You buy it while you can. And what happened? Gold's already almost going to be 3,200 tomorrow. Hang on, 3,200 tomorrow morning. And for all those people I told to buy it 2 days ago, sorry, you made a mistake. Gold is legitimately money, and the world is embracing it. And I think that you're going to see a lot of changes that will be occurring in the months ahead. And all of them will be positive factors for gold. But I think that there's going to be a lot of reshaping because globalism is over.
So tell me about liquidity. Well, I'm reading a lot of financial reports today about liquidity, that the banks are having liquidity issues. This is one reason why they're paying higher interest to borrow money. Recently, my banker called and said, would you like to get a one-year CD at 4%? And I said, you want me to lock up my money for 1 year for 4%? Are you kidding me? I said, I can do way better than that in other areas where I invest. And it's not in stocks. It's not in anything. It's in hard assets. No, I'm not interested. But they thought they were doing me a real deal, offering me 4%. And apparently they're calling all the people that they can go in there and ring their phone numbers and ask them. So they're trying to obviously come up with so where they can lock in and know, well, we've got his money for a year. I said no.
Well, that's because a lot of these banks are tied up into, putting aside the overnights, they're tied up in bonds, and a lot of them are tied up in foreign money. So, they are legitimately very thin right now. I think you're also going to see something start happening in the months ahead. They're going to start going to conventional bank loans that didn't exist before. That'll come back again. But right now, there's a thin market. China is trying to perpetrate all this as a means of trying to hurt the United States. I think you'll find the Fed stepping in and the government stepping in and moving assets as a means of shoring things up. But there's a number of banks right now that are tied into bonds and legitimately into other things that are very much at risk. As we know, a lot of the banks tend to speculate, and I think derivatives are a major problem right now. There's your hook. We've talked about this, and you brought it up on Worldview Weekend. Years ago, we talked about the derivative market. Well, guess what? Say hello to the derivative market of the United States of America, because China is going to be taking a hit in the derivative market, and these banks who have played games with derivatives are thin right now. And that's a big reason why they're running around. And it'll all sort itself out in the wash. But some of these banks, I think, are going to be in a very tight squeeze for a period of time. And I think you're going to see the Fed moving in. And I think you're going to see Basant moving in. And they brought that lady in. If you remember, there was a question regarding bank regulations and controls on banks. And initially, Jerome Powell several weeks ago said, well, he's going to do it. We don't need to hire anybody new. And then Trump did hire somebody new. I think you'll find this lady moving in and starting to make some very strong moves on regulatory controls and substance controls as it might be on the banks. So for the smart investor right now, as we say on Worldview and we say with Worldview Gold Swiss America, do not put all your eggs in one basket and do not make rash decisions. If you own blue chip stocks, I would not be a huge seller and dumping out of the market right now. That's foolish. But I've warned you about mutual funds. Brandon, we talked about mutual funds so many times. And there's people right now who have called me up, Worldview people, and said, oh, my God, I'm down 30%. Is it going to come back? I said, it can't come back. It's gone. This is not an asset that holds value. You have lost. So if you're smart, you're either going to get on the side and reevaluate or make sure that you're properly balanced in gold. We talked about a 25% ratio. If you were in gold right now, your gold is going up to protect the losses that you are incurring elsewhere. And if you're not, you're foolish.
All right. So tell me what your thoughts are on the supposedly overnight loans, the repurchasing market. Are you following that at all?
Yeah, I think they're trying to offer more to get more companies. My company years ago, we used to buy repos. It was a quick way to make money overnight. And I think you're going to see some of the big companies floating money there versus bonds. I think there's going to be a lot of stuff going on in overnights. And I think the liquidity in the overnights is going to actually get bigger because it's a fast, easy place to go and make some quick dollars versus playing around possibly with bonds. So I think they say the overnight market is thin. I think the overnight market's going to be big because it's a safe haven for money in comparison to the bond market. So I don't see that liquidity problem in the overnights. I just don't see it. I think you'll see a lot of money being looked at in another place, and that will be gold. I think you'll see companies buying gold right now, just like they did years ago. I remember we did a radio show one time, and there was a guy who apparently had his broker with Mass Mutual, and he was talking about how he was telling his client not to buy gold. And I said, well, you better tell him to tune in because his company just bought $200 million worth of gold yesterday. So I think you'll see companies buying gold too. So there's going to be a lot of restructuring how people move assets, and I think there'll be starting to be big movement out of derivatives and a lot of companies looking at overnights that didn't look at overnights before and turn to Chinese where they're not. They're going to be pulling money back, which includes Larry Fink from BlackRock, that little
liquidity crisis fear dominates the market as bonds sell off. All right, we appreciate you as always. If you want to get the free packet of information from Michael Weiner and Wes Peters, you can go to worldviewgold.com, worldviewgold.com. Just fill out the free packet of information, and they'll gladly send that to you. Worldview Gold. I'll spell it right. Worldviewgold.com. You go there, look where it says top right-hand corner, more info. Click that. It'll bring you right down to the form. You fill it out. You'll get that no obligation free packet right away, or you can text Wes your name and number. He'll send it to you, 602-558-8585. Michael Weiner, as always, thank you, my friend.
Say hello to Dolly.
She's sound asleep. She's over here sound asleep. I will definitely say that. Thank you, Michael.
Good night.
All right, folks, that's our broadcast for tonight. So again, thank you for being here. Hey, roll the music. Don't forget to get your free business cards. We've now sent out over 12,000 of these. We're bringing a bunch of them with us to Wisconsin, so some of you can pick them up in person in Wisconsin. Otherwise, get your pack of 20. They're absolutely free of charge. Spread the word about our network. Invite people to listen, will you? We'd love it if you do that. We really would. So pray for us, promote us by getting our cards at worldviewstore.com. And then if you can, financially support us. Won't you consider going to worldviewfoundation.com, worldviewfoundation.com. Please consider helping us keep the broadcast going and the stream open and free for everybody at worldviewfoundation.com. You'll also find our mailing address there. Hey, tomorrow is Logan's birthday, so maybe you want to email him or comment, send the emails to me at Brandon at worldviewtube.com. I'll send them to him, or find our contact on our website. But happy 22 to Logan tomorrow, April 11th. May God save America. Take care.
Responsibility. What we think about these depends on our worldview. Now, VCY America presents Worldview Radio.